Hello, I'm Rex Childhouse, and because things on the internet seem to lose their date references pretty easily, today is Saturday, May 13th, 2023.
So one of the questions comes up, why is the back longer than the liner? And that's so you can see in this photo work. When you close the wallet, that gap is closed up. You need a differential of material so your wallet will close. And because of that, what we have to do is we're going to have to, and I'm handheld and I'm sorry, we're going to have to index some of the holes between the liner and the back off on the left side, leaving a gap on the right, and then reset and go to the right side, set it flush, and leave a gap on the left side. So somewhere in the middle, we're going to have to stop sinking the holes between the two pieces. We're going to start punching holes in the secondary materials, and the first one I'm going to do is the tab, and I'm using double-sided tape to hold it in place. My technique with double-sided tape is take a razor knife, put a gash in it, not real deep, just put a gash in it. I've got some of these already started. Finally got it and ripped it up, and that's okay. So the one that I set up to do on video is the one that gave me the most problems. Murphy's Law, I guess. Okay, this one here did exactly what I wanted it to do. Slid it, pushed it. Okay, so put that on my way. Now we're going to be punching in from the other side, from the face side, the outside of the back. These are intended. So what we're going to do now is we're going to drive the pricking tool, because the pricking tool is a parallelogram. Once it goes in one way, if you were to flip it over and punch it this way, number one, you probably not meet the front holes. But the other thing is the holes wouldn't be the same relationship. They're backwards. So what we're going to do is to drive these holes through the tab and do the tab, and then I'll pick you back up again and show you the next step. And before I leave you on this, I am using the pricking tool away from me, so need to maintain that orientation. Run the pricking tool across the top. You can see the holes come through here. Because the tab goes to the ends, we need to come back over here and grab that one. And grab that one. And that will get the last of the holes on the tab. To do the liner, and the liner is fun because you have to do it in two sweeps. But at this moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of tape, painter's tape, so I know which is the top, because once I take the tab off, and the tab is punched to match this particular line of holes
which might not be exact to this particular line of holes. So I now know exactly which one is the top on this piece. On the liner, it's not going to be an issue because the liner, you don't stitch across the top, you stitch across the ends, the bottom, and the two middle sections. So time to set up the pockets. Back to double-sided tape. What I'm going to do, I've marked the back. This is the top. I've marked the back. Since I was putting double-sided tape on, I did both sides. Let's see if I can get this guy to peel off quickly. I use a program called Camtasia. Bought it when I was teaching community college courses. Love it. You have used it for a lot of videos for my classes. I had 100 and something videos for my classes on it. As I said, the tape indicates that it's the top. So I'm going to lay this on as perfect as I can. And press it in. Now, because a parallelogram, when you flip it over the other way, doesn't work, plus we can't, we don't know where the holes are. With tape, I'm going to mark where this pocket stops. I want to leave a little bit. So with that, I'm going to punch top to top. I'm going to punch down the right side and across with the pricking tool. And you know how this goes. I'll do the first one on. Keep it oriented so you're looking at the edge of the pricking tool, but we're trying to match things. And I find having this one next to it helps me pull it out, keeps the leather from coming up. I've got some punching to do, then I'll come back and see you. I'm referring to this as the left side of the wallet. This is the liner, the back is against the table, and I'm going to continue to punch holes on the left side. I will punch all the holes on the left side. Then it's just mirror image on the right side. And I'm not going to fight the double-sided tape on camera. This is a new brand I bought for my CNC machine. On the pocket back, there is a top and a bottom. The bottom has the groove in it. I'm not sure why it didn't need it. Line it up as close to perfect as you can. And then push it down. And we're now going through 3 layers. We're going through the back, the liner, and the pocket back. And that's going to take some more driving, but we're staying on this side here, and I'm doing 1 layer at a time, so I'm not driving the pricking tool through 4 or 5 plies at one time. More hitting to do. Remember, maintain your orientation, so you're looking at the pricking tool this way so that you get the alignment correct. We've punched our holes from the back through the liner into the pocket back, and at this point what we're going to do is we are going to use double-sided tape to put the front of the pocket on, and then drive through again, and then put the individual tabs on and drive those through. So off camera, I'm going to put double-sided tape on and mount this, and then we're going to be going through 4 plies with the pricking tool, which is why I'm doing the plies one at a time. I'm going to do the front pocket on the left side. I've already got a piece of double-sided tape over here, so I've got 2 pieces of double-sided tape. Lay it in just as accurately as possibly can, and This piece here tells me don't punch because I've got the back attached to it. So, okay, I'm happy with that. It's good. Now I'm going to flip it over and see where it starts. So I start about here. So I start about here and work my way down. And to check to see if I made it through, can I pull it? I'm into the rubber. Into the rubber. So some more pricking tool work to do, and then we'll come back. More double-sided tape put down on this side. Take the upper tab, and remember that one of them is in 5/8 of an inch, one of them is in 1/2 inch. The one that's in 5/8 of an inch goes on top, and the one that goes in 1/2 inch goes halfway between the pocket face and the top. And with that, we don't do anything over here, but I do want to hold them in place. So I'm going to put painter's tape over there. So we come back. Not enough painter's tape. We're going to flip this over again and go back to the very top. Get the alignment. Make sure it goes through. It's into the rubber back. I'm going to come down, get two over it, whole overlay. Okay. Now at that point, we've got holes through the tabs, so all the pricking tool work is done on this side. Now it's got to come over here, and we need to take it off the back to do that. So I'll do that off camera. We've taken the back off, so we set that aside. What I've done is I've used painter's tape to hold the tabs in the spacing I want, and with the pricking tool, we're now going to put the stitch line over here. Because this is a continuous stitch line, I'm going to space about the right width up, and getting through all of these, because it's anywhere from it's several layers, several plies. And the last one is, how high do I want to go? Where do I want it to finish? I guess I want it to finish right there. Okay. Now, once we take the front pocket off, we need to take the pricking tool and start, so I have like 2 holes off on one side, and then step it over so I have about 2 holes off on the other side, and then the left pocket, left side of the pockets will be done. The 5/8 inch tab is set here, and this is going to be one of those use of the pricking tool. what I want is I want about 2 holes on the left side and about 2 holes on the right side, and I want to be up about 1/8 of an inch. I'm using pins, needles, and painter's tape to hold my orientation so that these are properly aligned. So that gives me my about 1/8 of an inch over here. That's in good alignment over here. It's in good alignment. That's good. Let's take it. And the only layer that this is going through is the back. I want 2 holes over here, and that'll hold the edge of the tab down. And 2 holes over here. And with that, the first one's down. Take the needles out. Where's my magnet? I normally keep a magnet on my workspace when I'm working with needles because they stay there very nicely. Now I need to re-space this. I should probably do it with the needles. That's how I punched it. Back to painter's tape. Those are going to stay. That's going to stay. And now I'm going to punch the lower tab about 1/8 of an inch up, parallel, centered as close as you can. Nobody's going to see it, it's inside the pocket. 2 holes free. Two holes free, and I just realized that my hand's in the way of everything you see. So the tabs are now punched so that they'll get sewn to the back of the pocket. So the liner will attach here. You'll slip stuff in without interference, and then these will stop the cards and ID cards, credit cards, ID cards from going too deep, so you can still get them out. At this point, all of the punching with the pricking tool is done for the left pocket, so it's a duplicate for the right. What we need to do now, what I need to do now, is I need to take my number 2 beveling tool and on the outer edges. So this is an inner edge. On the outer edges, take my number 2 beveling tool. This will hold this down. Get this up close. What I think is actually happening is the material is so thin that it's riding off of that the beveling tool is not coming down on it. So I'm going to take okay. going to take another piece of material like I did with the other tool. Raise it off the work pad. Not much better. A little better. Now, this edge is the outside when it goes on. This is one of those, they tell me it's nice to have issues. I may just leave them off on the rest. Really tough to do them on the tabs, so I'm probably going to leave it off on the rest. Now I'm going to put, remember you have to keep these oriented. This is the set, this is the left set, it's going to go in the left pocket, so I'm going to put it on the left side of my board. And at this point in time, I'm going to do everything that I did on the left side in the same order on the right side with that side, and I'll do that off camera. The back of the wallet is pretty much a which way you want to look at it piece, but it is critical because the tab is punched very specifically to this line of holes. The right pocket is punched to this line of holes, the left pocket's punched to this line of holes. So what I've done, so I always know which is the top, because I have to take the tape off when I go to stain it, is I put thread through the top, and that tells me which is the top. I'm now done with the top, with the back. That's the next process for this, is to coat it. I'm not going to bevel it. I gave up on that idea. It's just simply too thin, and we're going to burnish the edges anyways. So I'm going to put this off on the side, and now I need to finish the right pockets, just like I did on the left, and they're set up. I've got everything punched with the pricking tool, and the step after what I'm going to do right now is to coat it, and I'm going to use Tandy Leather's EcoFlow gel. I really like how it goes on. I've used it on other products. I think this is their dark. I might do this one in medium. I really like how it goes on. I really like the finish it gives. What I'm going to do right now, though, is take a common ordinary fingernail file and clean up the edges of these guys a little bit, and that might put a little bit of a bevel on it. And can't clean them up a whole lot. Can't make them exactly smooth. Once the gel gets on them, they'll have a little more body, and I'll be able to clean them up a little more. So I've got a little bit of work ahead of me, and then I'm going to put the EcoFlow on, and I'm not going to show you how to do that. That's you take a sponge and depending on who you're listening to, dilute it with water a little bit or use it straight. I use it straight. Okay, off to doing some edge sanding, and then EcoFlow, and we'll come back after that. Getting ready to put on the EcoFlow Gel Antique. I shook it. This is the dark brown. I wasn't comfortable with the amount I had left, so I put some of the medium brown in it. It came out to be a really nice color. One of the things that you want to do when you do stain these, when you put the gel on, is you want to, for the back, you want to bring it in rough side as a curve and let it dry in this manner. For the liner, you want to do just the opposite. You want to bring it in on a curve and let it dry and acquire its memory at this point. The pros and the aces of the base and leather work and wherever else will tell you, you take a razor knife, cut your thread at 45 degrees, stick it through the eye of the needle, Quite honestly, I can't do that. What I do is I get a needle threader, fold the thread over once I've got it in to help it, because it is quite a pull, and unthreaded. I'm going to use these. I've got two, and when I'm working with a needle on my table, I put a magnet, and that's where it stays. Off camera, just because I wanted to do it, I stamped my name on the back, and we know this is the top, so when the wallet is held like this, like a book, my name's going to be on it. So what I'm going to do now is, this is a mix of medium and dark, and I'm going to apply it to the pieces. When I do these, what I do is I take my little medicine dose cups, make all these little towers, and like for the tabs, I'll set them like this to let them dry. For the big pieces, I'll set them across the top and let them dry that way. So now I'm off to putting EcoFlow Gel Antique medium and dark mix onto my pieces. Clue, always wear gloves with this stuff, and from experience with a lot of painting, a lot of mechanical cars type stuff, if you get stuff on your hands, try Head & Shoulders shampoo, particularly if it's oil or grease. Head & Shoulders takes it off really great. I will tell you, Head & Shoulders does not do a great job on this, but I haven't found anything that does. So if you get this on your hands, you've got it for a couple hours. The EcoFlow is on. All the pieces are sitting here drying. The inner liner has been brought in to have the rough on the outside, the smooth on the inside, because it's the inner liner to enhance its memory. The back has been brought in also with thread, smooth on the outside, rough on the inside, to give it its memory. The left pieces are still on the left side, the right pieces are still on the right side, because, and I'm stressing it, they've been stamped that way. Why introduce some variables there? So now it's got to dry. It has dried overnight. I'm going to take it off the cups, and remember, we're keeping left and right orientation, so those stay over to the right. The next step to do is we need to stitch the two tabs to the face, and make sure that you get the long one up on the top, because they go in on top of each other. The long one gets sewn in first, then the shorter one gets sewn in. With both left and right side tabs sewn on, then we're going to sew the pocket back with the pocket front off to the liner. So let me step into the threading portion of this. I'm going to use this thread, and I'm going to double stitch this. I use things often, use as much as I can over again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to poke this hole to refresh it, so to speak. Come in from the back side, if I can find it. There it is. And pull it. Leave myself about 3 inches on the back side. Remember, I have 2 open holes away from the tab, so snagged up on the corner. So on this one here, and I do have a stitching pony, because this is so small and because I'm flipping it back and forth, rather than deal with the stitching pony, I'm doing it by hand. to verify I have the long one. I do have the long one. Poke that through. And make sure that my alignment is correct. Pull that through, just snug. And I pulled the thread off my needle preference. And one of the things that may help you is to use something like a paper clamp to hold this in place. One of those big black things. I just used my thumb. Oops, okay. I came through the wrong hole. So you have a chance of spearing your own thread. If you stick the needle through and then pull the thread and it doesn't pull the needle, you're not attached. Okay, there it is. And this is where we reverse. And this stitch is very locking. And if by accident you actually spear your first thread, what it really does is it locks it in. If the thread breaks somewhere along the line, it won't separate past that point. And if you're proficient at this, as you get proficient at this, you will find you can stab the back hole and get it smooth. So at this point, I'm going to tie this off. I'm just going to put 2 standard cheap knots on it and then take my scissors and snip it off because I have more use for this thread. And I will do the final trim with my thread zapper, which also melts the thread. So the first one's on. The second one is going to be the same way, using the same thread. Doesn't matter what color thread you're going to use on this because it's going to be covered up. This is one of the annoyances, incidentally, that I have with this new double-sided tape. It left adhesive. I should have tried to clean it somehow. Now my thread zapper, pull the threads up. Easier said than done. Okay. And when this stuff melts, it does stink. Okay. Now they're sealed. And now I'm going to take my hammer and I'm going to tap these guys down so that when you slide a card in, they don't jam. What I want to have happen, those are going to be a little snaggly. I want cards to slide onto these without a problem. This guy is the left guy. I'm going to set him off on the side. I'm going to do the same thing on the right pocket. Remember, I'm going to stress it again. We have to keep the orientation left to left, right to right, because that's the way you cut punch the holes.